Something's wrong when you.
Hey guys, this is Hannah and this is Book One Song. And today we're going to talk about Dirty by Megan Hart. And this book was a trip for me. I finished it in like record time. I think it was like something like 14 hours. It was fast read. It covered a lot of time, but it didn't drag. And it's the story about this girl, Elle, who meets this stranger in this candy shop, which is a nice twist for a beginning. And Elle is the kind of girl that she uses guys for sex. She doesn't date. It's exclusively just for pleasure. And so then she meets Dan, and everything turns upside down. Elle forces a deal on him to say, well, don't fall for me. This is just it. It's just. He agrees to her circumstances that she doesn't want to date and she just basically wants someone to have sex with. The sweet guy that he is puts up with her craziness and her obsession with counting and pushing things away. She drives me crazy. Dirty Dan! I had a moment when I was Instagramming stuff from this because it's very quotable. I hashtagged it as dirty, and then I was like, oh, I'll hashtag it as, you know, the names of the characters because he said something, and then I was like, it says hashtag dirty, hashtag Dan, dirty Dan. I had SpongeBob. He made me laugh a lot in this book, and it was hilarious. More like mortifying hilarious. Halfway through the book, and then it just started getting really depressing because you get to know more about Elle's past. We don't even comprehend a little bit, nothing like it actually is. But Dan he makes everything hilarious. She pushes him away like someone that we know, cough, Eva cough, Bear to You reference. And we hate it, but we're glad that she's like Princess Pennywhistle, a character that she created when she was a kid. She was a princess who didn't wait for her prince to save her, but she would rescue herself. And it's not just their relationship, it's her relationship with her neighbor who has a lot of problems of his own, and we don't even begin to understand how much she's like him. And it's problems with her mother and her brothers and work and how she is. And it's an adventure, and we get to know Elle, and I feel like I got to know her really early on in the story, and I understood her as a character. There's one scene that definitely categorized it in the erotica section, but I would place it next to Bared to You because there's an underlying story, and it's really in depth, and you want to know about the characters. Yeah, the sex scenes are sex scenes, but we really want to know what's with Elle and what's with her past and whether Dan can fix her or whether she wants to be fixed, and it's just all this stuff. So if you liked the Crossfire series, you'll probably love this. I think even if you liked 50 Shades of Grey, which I just got through reading, I have a link for that blog right around here, and I really think you'd like it if you were into that kind of thing. So now for spoilers. At the bar, coffee shop, Blue Swan deal thing, they were dancing, and he's lifting up her skirt on the dance floor and doing things on the dance floor. Guys, there are people around. And then with their appointment, not date, Dan calls it an appointment because that's what she wants. So after their appointment, and they have sex in the bathroom, and I'm glad that she didn't expect him to wait for her, but he did. And we get to see our first little glance at how good of a guy he actually is. How she's like, I don't date. I don't. And he's like, but I want to see you again. And he says the line, because I didn't get to see your face this time when they had sex. And is that crude to people? Because I thought that was kind of sweet. Maybe I just easily swoon. The compliments. He doesn't say, oh, your eyes are pretty. Oh, your lips are this. I love your laugh. Like a laugh. I'm like, that is the best compliment. There's really no nice way to talk about a penis. It's really not. So Elle called his penis aesthetic and fully functional. That's how you describe that? Miss Numbers, leave it to her. I don't know how to respond to that. So we find out at Dan's class reunion deal that Elle actually has a master's in astrophysics. What? When Elle tells Dan that she's been with 78 men, What? That's a huge number. By the time you were 25, you had sex with 78 people. Not the amount of times, that many people. Like, I don't know how Dan was totally okay with that. Like, he didn't seem disgusted at all. I was disgusted with that a lot, actually. With the freaking stars and the Big Dipper, So at first, the relationship that she had with her mother, I kind of thought it would be strained because her mom's naggy and like a hypochondriac and just as a demanding person. Maybe a bitch. Okay, that's what I thought going into it. And then they have their first meeting, and I hate her. Like, her mother point blank called her a whore. Then her mom's like, it's your fault that your brother killed himself. How is that her fault? Really? What kind of mother? The most awkward part in the book, threesomes with a random guy at a bar with a pierced penis. New territory for me, guys. I literally could not get through that scene at all. It was difficult beyond words. I felt like I was watching porn with my 90-year-old grandmother reading that scene. No, I can deal with BDSM shit all day long. I'm good with that now. Threesomes are a different story now, guys. That's out of my comfort zone. When we found out that Gavin was cutting himself, and she could have done more. When Dan and Elle had the whole conversation about why she doesn't date, and she's just very, I have sex with guys and that's it. And she finally says why, and it's not because she's necessarily afraid of getting hurt, but it's because she's afraid of hurting them. Because she never wants more, and they always end up wanting more. And she's like, I don't want you to settle, Dan. And she did something that made me like her. I hate it that she's like that, but she flat out told him, and I liked that she did that. She has a thing where she doesn't kiss on the mouth. Then she lets Dan kiss her on the mouth, and I really love that Dan can tell when she's counting. He started telling her, calling her on it, and she hated that, but I liked that he could tell. Like, that's how you know someone that well, to tell what they're thinking just by the way they look at something. And it only proves more that, he does love her, to pay attention that much. When Dan did his roundabout way of saying that I love you to Elle, and she's just like, no, don't, stop, no, don't. And I was like, stop it, Elle, damn it, stop being so difficult. And she's freaking out saying, you broke the rule, we made an agreement, you wouldn't, it's not part of it. You expected him not to love you. And I'm like, honey, you broke the deal too, because we all know well and good that you love him. I don't know why it is that I find it so damn sweet when someone holds your hair back while you're puking. But I do. And Dan not only held her hair back, but slept in the bathroom with her when she was sick after her dad died, and she drank herself into oblivion, and he stayed there on the bathroom floor with her. And Dan, damn, like, you can't stop being so mean to him. He's amazing. When we found out that Andrew had sex with Elle when she was 15, and it stopped when she was 18 because she cut herself. And then Andrew killed himself because she cut herself because he would sleep with her. And the mother's favorite is Andrew because she would just be in denial that he did it to Elle. Because he was dead, she wanted to blame the one that was alive. Then when she found good things to say about Andrew, and it was hard for her, but he was the one that showed her the Big Dipper, and that there was more in the stars than just counting them, but that there was beauty there. And I was an emotional wreck. That whole, oh my god. I'm glad that Elle and Dan reconciled, but, I kind of wish that she had said I love you back. But, it's realistic to how Elle is. While I wish she said it, Dan knows. And that's kind of all that matters. This book made me cry a lot. A lot. Don't go into this thinking it's a light read. You'll think it is until after the threesome scene, and then it just kind of goes downhill into a spiral of depression. But it's good anyway because we want to know, and we're never bored with it. And there are so many beautiful quotes in this, and I love her style of writing. Beautiful quotes so much that I'm actually going to read them to you because I think they're that good. When they touched each other's scars, and it was so beautiful. Okay, so this quote's from that. The way I see it, Elle, our scars are proof we can survive. That man and his words. I could say his body was perfect and every part of him beautiful, because it was. Not because he had no flaws, but because I wanted him so desperately I couldn't see any. I don't like the word beautiful. It's used for vases, horses, houses, and flowers, as much as it is for humans. Beautiful is a flattering lie. She says, this was tumbling headfirst down the rabbit hole. It was standing on the edge of the cliff and preparing to leap. This was nothing and everything all at once. I think that sounds like love, Elle. It's a great standalone, wraps you in it, and it's good, and it ends on a good note, for the most part. Okay guys, I'll see you next time on Bookworms Talk. Bye!